Again, 138.07, the meet record.
He's going to get it.
137.87, a new meet record for Daniel Carr of Cal. Here comes Hoffer. He's going to win it. But Ryan Hoffer wins his third race of the meet. He throws the pumper, and there he is, your swimmer of the meet. And Reese Whitley has another win, 149.85. Betters his fastest time in the nation, which he had set at the Minneapolis Invitational back in December. Can he break it again?
Yes.
139.15, another meet record for the Golden Bears. Xinghua topping his time from last year. The Cal crowd is throwing their fists in the air, and it's Hoffer, 246.92. That is a new meet record.
Oh, Bear territory, obviously, extending into the pool. A third consecutive Pac-12 championship for the Cal men's swim team. We had an opportunity to talk to their head coach, Dave Durden, recently, who was also named Conference Coach of the Year in swimming. He's also Team USA's swim team coach, with Tokyo Olympics being postponed. That was a major topic of conversation. Oh, Coach, it's awesome to talk with you. And I know there's a ton of topics swimming related that we need to get to, but just on a personal level, how are you doing amidst all this chaos and your swimmers and some of the people that you've been around?
Sure. Personally, I am screwing up my son's math right now. That is what I'm doing. So everything that he has learned through the first 5 years of education, I'm undoing with the way that I learned math. So I know that I'm a terrible teacher of that, but it's been interesting to have communication with athletes that typically would be face to face on a pool deck, and now doing it across a computer screen or over a phone or via whatever electronic communication we're using at the time. So it's a little different in my day to day, but we're adjusting, and our guys are safe, and they do take their moral and social responsibility very seriously. So they're hunkering down and doing what they can during this time.
I'm glad you brought up the math stuff. I had heard that you don't carry the one anymore, which is probably another Zoom interview that we can have another time, which blows my mind.
Yeah.
It's probably dating the two of us. But at least with regards to swimming, Coach, take me through the postponement and your reaction to the Olympic Games not happening in the next couple months.
The emotions were mixed. There was somewhat relief, because we were in a very stressful situation and dealing with athletes that were putting a lot of stress on themselves. Understanding what their social responsibility was, but also understanding what their athletic responsibility was. Having put 3.5 years into this 4-year process, and being 3 months out of the Olympic trials and 4 months out of the Olympic Games, it puts a large amount of stress on those athletes and the coaches and support systems that are in place to help those athletes achieve their dreams. So there was relief with that. And there was also, just the disappointment in knowing that some athletes were in a wonderful spot to be able to perform well at the Olympic trials, to be able to perform well at the Olympic Games. And it doesn't necessarily come to a halt. I've tried to refrain from using the words reset or restart. That's not what we're doing. We're continuing on. It's just going to look a little bit different as we go through these next couple of weeks, these next couple of months, as we start to refocus in towards 2021.
Coach, I saw a quote from you, and I just want you to listen to it. You said you can't take a week off 3 months out from trials. You just can't. A week off 13 months out, you could probably get away with that. 3 months out, it's not something you would ever do in a normal Olympic cycle. Can you just explain from your swimmer's perspective how dramatically different the training is going to be if you extend out? From what I've read, we know the Olympic Games aren't going to happen, at least in this calendar year, but just how different the planning is for not only your swimmers, but also for the coaching staff.
Sure. I mean, it just causes us to pause at a different time. So our pause is right now, essentially. And very rarely would we take a pause in March or April with our elite level athletes. They're wired and they're geared towards having big long course championship type meets at the end of the summer. So at the end of July, when the Olympics were scheduled, and they have that pretty much every year in an Olympic quad. And then their pause, so to speak, happens after that major meet. So usually in the beginning of August, taking a little time away, or in the month of August, taking some time away before we restart into the next season of training leading up to the next summer. So the pause right now is a little bit different timing for them. And then how we sort of, bring them back onto the expressway, that on-ramp, so to speak, is going to be a little bit longer. It's not going to be quite as steep because we have a little bit of time, and we can do some things right now with our mental and emotional health that really was kind of going by the wayside a little bit over the last couple of weeks, and now we can catch our breath and start to move forward towards 2021.
Does your team roster makeup change knowing that you had some swimmers, and this is not just a swimming issue, but just, I think, an Olympic game issue, that are on the older side in terms of athletic competition?
Yeah, I mean, I think some guys have to make a decision. Now it's, at this point in time, it was a 3-month, 4-month decision into what they were doing over that next 3 to 4 months. And now they do have to step back and say, okay, what does this next, 15-month decision look like? I mean, it affects them not only as an athlete, it affects them in their finances. This isn't a sport where you make a ton of money. And so a lot of them had a financial plan in place over this next 3 to 4 months, and trying to extend that over 15 months is a huge challenge for them, especially when they don't have an opportunity this summer to get up and race and perform and get performance bonuses or to put themselves in a funding opportunity on our national team.
Coach, knowing that I'm doing this interview with you right now, if you would have told me a month ago that we'd be talking at this point, I would have said, oh, Cal won a national championship in the NCAAs. That obviously isn't going to happen right now. Put into perspective the conversations that you've had with some of your swimmers who were knocking on the door from doing some big things in the NCAAs and just aren't going to get that opportunity.
Yeah, it was tough. I mean, we had a great Pac-12 championships, and for us, it's always a long play into the NC2A season or into the month of March. And so I thought we were, with our college group, I thought we were rounding in the form and in a great spot in that little 2-week break in between our Pac-12 championships and NC2A championships. So that's an opportunity that, to say that they've lost it is I think that's always strong language. I think they've given that opportunity back to the greater good of the community, and it was theirs to have, and they gave that and said, hey, I'm going to follow through with my social and moral responsibility. I think, one of the nice things about working with athletes at Cal is that they're really smart guys. And they get it, and they understand what their moral and social responsibility looks like, and they need to put their athletic responsibility on the back burner for that. And so I think for the most part, those conversations have been positive. It doesn't take away the disappointment, the pain of not being able to kind of finish for some of our seniors, finish their career, for a lot of our underclassmen, finish their season in a way that they've done ever since they started swimming. There's always been a season-ending meet for them to go to perform at, to see the results of their hard work, and they didn't have that. So it's just refocusing that a little bit and helping them with that process as they're moving through it right now.
Coach, really good perspective. And I hadn't heard it put that way from a student athlete perspective. So I'm glad you actually showed it and explained it in that regard. Look, stay healthy, your family, the people that you coach as well. You've been a great ambassador for the sport. We cannot wait to see your team, Team USA, baby, at some point in the Olympics. Thanks again.
Yeah, thank you so much. Take care.